This is a cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service, and it's part of his work, Tales of the Yukon. There are strange things done neath the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen strange sights, but the strangest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge when I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee came from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam round the North Pole, no one knows, for he was always cold. Yet that land of gold seemed to hold him in her spell, though I've heard him say, in his earthy way, that he'd sooner live in hell. One Christmas day we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold! Through the parka's fold it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes would close, then our lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay rolled tight in our robes beneath the snow, the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe. He turned to me, and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. But before I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he looked so low that I couldn't say no. Then he said with a sort of a moan, it's this cursed cold. It's got right hold and chilled me through to the bone. Yet it ain't being dead. It's my awful dread of an icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. Well, a man's last need is the thing to heed. So I swore that I would not fail, and we started on at the streak of dawn, but oh, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day about his home in Tennessee, and before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. I couldn't get my breath in that land of death, and I hurried, horror-driven, with this corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid of because of the promise I'd given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brain, but you promised true, and now it's up to you to cremate these last remains. Well, now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. Through the long, long nights by the long firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows, oh, how I loathed that thing. And every day that lifeless clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow. But on we went, though the dogs were spent, and the grub was a-getting low. The trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in, and I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till we came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and there an old ship lay. She was jammed in the ice, and I saw in a trice that her name was the Alice May. Well, I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. Here at last, said I, with a weary sigh, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was lying around, and I piled the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the furnace roared, such a fire you seldom see. Then I burrowed a hole in the glowing coals, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. And I took a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, yet the hot sweat rolled down my face, though I couldn't say why. And the greasy smoke in its inky cloak went streaking toward the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take one peek inside. I guess he's cooked, but it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide, and there sat Sam, just as cool and calm in the heart of that furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, please close the door. It's warm in here, and I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and the storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm.